Hi, this is Jen Tracy, and this is another video of Mavenclad for MS. It has been 13 and a half weeks, and I actually recorded at the 10-week mark, but I haven't published that video. I just did not have the energy or the steam to do that, so I'm just going to bypass that video. It's like it never happened. and here we are today, 13 and a half weeks later, and you know, life goes on, right? Whether you're on Mavenclad or not and living with MS, life does go on, for the good, the bad, the joys, the sorrow. And what I have to say in terms of where I'm at is the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks have been pretty tough, actually. My energy has been quite low. I have been feeling exceptionally lethargic, and I'm a very action-oriented driven person, and so it feels like I have been swimming through molasses. Now, as in all of our lives, there's been a number of variables that I've been dealing with above and beyond just taking the Mavenclad, continuing to run my business and having some demands in that and doing it part-time. So managing my energy around that, as well as colds. Just really feeling, I have really felt my immune system drop quite substantially. Now, I don't think I said at the beginning of this video who I am. I'm Jen Tracy, and I live in Montreal, and I've created this series of videos for people that are thinking of taking Mavenclad, or people that are on it that maybe want to have some resonance on this journey and some support. And my bigger picture vision is creating a membership, online membership community for people living with fatigue, particularly starting with MS. So, you know, I've had a hard time getting that project off the ground because of my energy level. I had committed to that in 2019. Thankfully, it's still only April, so you know there's some opportunity there to pursue that further. But yeah, this molasses thing has been tough, and it's not for me so much brain fog in the sense of, in the way that many of you may have described that or experienced it. It's something, I don't know, it's something really difficult to explain. Part of it might be, you know, the mood impact that some of you have spoken about through the Facebook group Mavenclad for MS around moodiness. Definitely what I call my window of tolerance has been very narrow. And so I have been quite anxious. I've been quite agitated as I wait for things to happen in my life, whether it be pertaining to my business or personal life. I have felt a lot of anxiety and stress. And I can say that that's not, I mean, I always have some, I'm human, but it hasn't been at this level. And so I'm noticing that. I'm doing my best to be a witness to this journey that I'm on, knowing that there's an unfolding happening. And I really haven't felt motivated for things like, even when I go grocery shopping and I'm on this paleo diet, and I enjoy my food, and I still am enjoying eating, which is great. That's important. I like my food. However, when I go to the grocery store, I have been feeling quite limited in my ability to decide on things. So decisions have been very difficult for me. And that's not something that normally is that difficult. Definitely when I'm tired, I don't have an ability to decide what am I going to have for dinner, what am I going to make for dinner, those kind of things that can be a bit harder for me. But generally speaking, by the time dinner gets close, it's not that hard for me if I'm just going around the corner to pick up some groceries to be able to make a decision. But I tell you, I've been staring at the shelves, particularly in the meat department, fish and all the different things that are there, and really deciding. It's almost like I feel, I'm just trying to think of how I would describe this for a sec. Just not just even overwhelmed, but more like I don't really feel motivated to make dinner. Don't feel motivated to choose what to make. It's quite interesting. I can't say that I felt like this in a while. And, you know, I would even describe it in a sense as a level of grief. Now, I do have some changes in my life that have been happening well before I started taking MS, and I had a lot of stress around my aging parents. So, and my mother had recently had a surgery that she's recovering well from, but there have been a few hiccups. So these kind of things can add to it. And I'm certainly surprised at the impact that I'm having in terms of coping. And I don't know if I would say that I feel depressed per se. Maybe there might be a low level of situational depression. But yeah, it's interesting. And I know that others have, from the time that they start taking Mavenclad to the period of a whole year, they'll say that when they get close to the end of the first year, wow, I'm starting to feel normal again. I'm starting to feel like myself. And now I'm going into year 2 of Mavenclad. You know, and for me, number one, I'm hoping that this experience I'm having and the way that I'm having it doesn't last for a whole year. That would be really great. and just really allowing myself to be how I need to be in this experience, because it is what it is, right? Here I am, and, you know, in some ways I'm struggling right now. So, and still I'm able to do many things. Today I was out at a human rights rally, and it required some standing. I did sit a bit. It required walking, and there was fresh air, which was lovely, and I was able to manage it quite well. So it's not so much, I think, for me, the physical aspect of things. However, I don't feel driven to exercise necessarily, but I am keeping myself in check with that. I'm keeping myself in check with eating mostly healthy and staying on track with my diet, even if I don't feel like it, you know, that kind of stuff. So that feels good, right? And I have a lot of gratitude, and I'm really happy to be spending time also on weekends or last month helping my parents. That brought me a lot of joy, even if it was exhausting while I was doing some work and managing my life. So those things are good, right? Those things are very life-giving. And at the same time, there's that layer that I have that I'm, you know, struggling with. So I'm not sure where each of you are at in your journey around MS, fatigue, Mavenclad. I've been doing some polls actually online, asking people questions just in general around fatigue and critical illness, primarily in the area of MS. And it's interesting how many people are saying that they are greatly impacted just on a day-to-day basis by fatigue, and greatly impacted by what we'd call social isolation, loneliness as a result of fatigue, and other physical issues that arise from MS and other critical illnesses that people may be experiencing. Some people have multiple layers of that. So that's been really, you know, in a way it's kind of sad, but in another way it's very affirming to me to know that I'm not on this journey alone. I wouldn't wish that anybody lived with MS, but I have to say for myself that it has had, in many ways, believe it or not, a positive impact on my life. Now, it was quite a struggle to decide whether to go on the Mavenclad treatment. And, you know, I thought that after the first week that I did it, I did quite well, even though there were some challenges around sleep and different aspects of discomfort. I was like, yeah! And then I was like dreading going through the 5th week of Mavenclad, like very anxious. Got through that, and I'm like, yay! And then, you know, I started to get hit with an increase of fatigue and the lethargy, and it kind of came and went. So when I was told by my pharmacist that week 8 and 9 can be tough, and week 7 was difficult, week 8 was a bit difficult, week 9 wasn't so much, but week 10, oh my goodness, that was brutal. It was so brutal. And now I'm on week 13 and a half, and I have to say that it's slow going, that molasses thing. So I'll leave it like that for today. Celebrating all of you that have passed that journey. I think that doing something like this, taking Mavenclad, just the decision around it can be difficult for sure. I'm not a person that really is keen on going on medication for MS, because for the most part I see myself as stable. So this was for me an act of courage, bravery to do this, just within myself, not like, ooh, I'm so brave in the world kind of thing, not like that. But yeah, I just want to, acknowledge all of you for whatever your choice is around what you decide to do. It is your choice. And I actually want to do another video talking about advocacy for myself, but you know what, I'm going to save that for another video, maybe part 2, because this one is already quite long. So I'm going to do that, but I might record the next one right afterwards. Okay? All right. We'll see you soon. Bye.